Well, welcome to the BNI Effect, the home of amazing conversations with BNI Brisbane members, sharing tips on how you can get the most out of BNI. I'm Tony Meredith, and ordinarily I'm a business coach, but today I'm your host and fellow BNI member, and this is episode number 54. And today's guest is Lynne Kurelek. Lynne, welcome.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Lynne. Thank you for being here. Why don't we kick it off by you giving us a brief overview of you, your business, and the main services you provide?
Sure. And thank you so much for having me. It's always such a pleasure to chat with you and chat with another business coach,
Yeah.
because that is what we do at Impacted Business Group. We support small businesses that want to grow and aligns really nicely actually with BNI because, that's a lot of the times why we're there is because we want to grow our businesses. But what we've recognized is that can be really tricky. There are so many parts to growing a business. It's about, clients that we work with are asking questions like, how do I get more leads who are interested in the services that I offer? How do I convert those leads into actual clients who want to pay me? How do I make those clients have an amazing experience so that they want to continue to work with me, and refer other clients to me? And then behind the scenes, what are all the things that I need to do if I'm getting all these new clients to scale my business up so that it can support, the weight of all the new work that I'm doing? So that's things like leading a team and finding and retaining really great talent in your business who are going to care as much about your business as you do. And then getting the operational stuff right, like having all the processes and systems that will allow your business to flourish. So that's what we help with. We work with clients who really want to achieve those growth goals. We help understand what those goals are, and then work with them hand in hand to achieve them. Making sure that it's not just about, hey, do this, and we give them some guidance and then walk away, but really supporting them through that whole process so they achieve the results that they're looking for.
Well, that's amazing. How long have you been in business for?
So my background is in corporate, and I moved over and started applying the skills that I learned in corporate in customer experience and product and leadership and building growth strategies into the small business space about 3 years ago.
Okay. And what about from the types of customers, Lynn? So, I mean, business is that
Sure.
wide. Is there a specific
Mhm.
industry or type of customer that you work with the most?
Yeah, we work primarily with service-based businesses, Tony. So, as an example, we have a lot of lawyers that we work with, accountants, people in the real estate space. We have a buyer's agent that we're working with. It's a little bit varied, but definitely service-based. And the needs of those customers vary, but generally what we find is, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is that we when you're starting a business, or when you're a small business owner, you kind of have to learn how to be good at everything. You have to be a jack of all trades to some extent. But if you're a lawyer starting your own practice, you might be the world's best lawyer. We have one client that we're working with who, in the commercial litigation space, I would trust him with anything. But that doesn't mean that he is really confident in finding and retaining talent and leading a team because he hasn't had to do it before. And so building that skill set is something that, is where we can come in and lend a hand and help him so that as he grows his business, he's building the skills he needs to be able to sustain and grow the business.
And that's a great example. And I find, because we're in a similar space, that people are very good at the thing that they do. So in that instance,
Mhm.
being a commercial lawyer, but then it's this other bit, this businessy bit, which it, whether it be, generating demand or how do I go and supply all the demand, that's where people don't have that experience or come unstuck. In your experience, you service a lot of, a lot of different areas within business. But what's one of the more common problems that you help solve for your clients?
I'd sum it up as sales and marketing. Because if you're an expert at what you do, it doesn't necessarily mean you're good at communicating what you do in a way that resonates with your ideal client. And then so many people find sales just like icky or uncomfortable and something that they yeah, exactly rather avoid, or not have. No, I don't want to have a pricing conversation. I'll send them a quote and like hopefully they'll say yes.
Mm.
You can do that, but it's probably not going to be the most effective or efficient, like time efficient way and to grow your business. So instead, like number one, like lean into an uncomfortable area. Just like you mentioned that to me earlier when we were chatting offline, lean into something that feels a little bit uncomfortable, but that will also enable your business to grow in a way that you wouldn't be able to unlock otherwise. And that's what we can support with.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point around the sales stuff. Obviously, it's an area close to my heart as well. But a lot of business people don't believe that they're salespeople. And it's like, well,
Hmm.
you kind of better get used to it pretty damn quick
Yeah.
because, I have many sayings, Lynn, but one is sales cures all, and providing that you've got plenty of sales coming in, assuming they're profitable sales, then
Yeah.
that is the key to success. Obviously, there's so many other things in business, but getting that
100%.
pipeline, getting those sales, as you said, you specialize in sales and marketing, getting that flow happening, that demand flow, that is, a massive part in growing a successful business.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many sort of different avenues that I could go with that, but I 100% agree with that saying. I really like the one that everyone is in sales.
Mm.
You might think you're not, everyone is in sales. And whether it's like, and this is getting a little bit away from business, but whether you're in sales in terms of getting your kids to do what you want, you're in you are in sales, getting them out the door in the morning. It's about influencing and persuasion, and it doesn't need to be a key. It's about fulfilling people's needs in a way that they can make a choice based off of like a full suite of information about what you can offer and how you offer it and what it costs. That is what sales is. And
Yep.
so it's helping people to, number one, feel comfortable with it and then do it effectively.
Well said.
Yeah.
In business for 3 years. How long have you been in BNI for, Lynn?
2 years.
Two
2 years.
years. Right. So
Just
talk,
had my
talk,
2 year anniversary
oh, happy
February.
anniversary, right?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What prompted you getting involved in BNI 2 years ago?
Good question. So I mentioned that I was in corporate previously, and so shifted the focus of my career and decided I wanted to do coaching and consulting rather than work in that big corporate space. But two things that I recognized was one, like my network was corporate people, and they aren't like in order to be able to start growing and building my business, I needed to shift my network and shift my focus into other small businesses. And so that was one of the things. But I actually think like underneath that, there was also a sort of early on in my career, a real hesitation or reticence or like distaste for networking or the idea of networking. I found it like awkward and uncomfortable. Again, like that icky word in terms of like sales, networking kind of fell in that same category for me. And that was really, now that I look back on it, fear and discomfort. And like, I'm an introvert naturally. And so the idea of networking felt scary. And so I knew from having coaches and mentors of my own that was a growth area for me. And that would be really helpful for me to, one of the things actually that, we're talking sayings, one of the sayings that we have with our clients that growth only comes from discomfort. And with discomfort comes growth. And that was something that I needed to lean into and go, okay, you know what, this might feel uncomfortable, but this is going to be good for me, good for our business now. It's my partner and I that run Impacted Business Group. And so let's lean into something uncomfortable and do it. Full circle 2 years later, it's like the highlight of my week, Tony. I love I love BNI. I love networking, and the specific way that BNI enables networking, I think, is really special and quite unique and very effective. And so what I had previously believed about what networking was like, that it's this icky, scary thing, my sort of view of it has completely changed into something different. So.
So what was it about, say, that first meeting? Because I would imagine beforehand there would have been a fair bit of anxiety and fears and stories going off, Lynn. So what was it about that first meeting that started to change your view?
It was, I think it's all about relationships and the people. I think there's something like within different chapters have a different vibe, but at every chapter that I visited, in addition to like that first meeting and the chapter that I ended up joining, just number one, feeling really, really welcomed. And like, I even remember walking up to the meeting in the parking lot and just, like heart's going a little bit, going, okay, so what am I going to say? What are people going to think of me? Am I going to like stumble over my words and all the stuff? And this lovely guy, just kind of walked up beside me and gave me this big smile and introduced himself. And then, we walked in together and joined a group of people. And it just felt like, okay, I can do this. And I feel welcomed. It feels like, I'll use the word safe, like a safe environment where, and this is what's been proven to be true. And in my experience afterwards is this is an environment where, number one, everybody wants each other to succeed. They recognize that, your success equals my success. And as we do better, as we support each other and, embrace that sort of givers gain mentality, that we're all going to grow our businesses. That I kind of felt that from the beginning and noticed that from the beginning. And that was what got me coming back and got me to apply, and then why I'm still here.
How has being part of a BNI chapter influenced your approach to networking?
Yeah, I think two things. One is I mentioned givers gain, and so I think before joining BNI and when I had that sort of perception that it was a little bit icky, is that it felt very transactional. It felt very much, I meet you once at a cocktail thing and have an uncomfortable conversation, and then I hopefully never see you again kind of thing. This is about building relationships, and it's about giving first, and about supporting each other and building relationships over time. I really subscribe to that and think that is the way to not only grow your business if you're doing it through networking, but to build lifelong relationships with people that will help you. And I think the second one is like very much related to that, which is that trust. Trust comes through building relationships. Trust comes through being a giver and not just a taker. And I didn't think about networking in that way previously. And now that's what I try to focus on as a networker in BNI, and what I would try to support my clients in when I'm talking to them about networking as a strategy to build your business. If you're going to do it, then it needs to come from that place of building trust and giving in order to gain.
And does BNI provide you resources to help you become a better networker?
Yeah, for sure. When I first joined, I went through all of the MSPs in order to get up to speed, and remember going through it and thinking, oh, like actually that's useful. Oh, I will use that. Oh, think that's really good. So I think like the actual formal training is super helpful. One of the things that I love most about our meetings are the education pieces that we do. We have a great education coordinator. We've had a number of really, really strong Actually, you've done one of our education pieces, Tony.
I have, yes. Thank you for the invite. Yes.
Yeah. So I think not only is there that like sort of formal training that's set up, but there's also the ongoing in the meeting, a refresher on something that's important and useful, and the opportunity to sort of discuss or talk about or take action based off of like, oh yeah, this is something I need to remember. This is something that I should do. And then you go do it because of that consistent sort of approach to including it as part of each meeting.
So you're not on your own, right? So whilst you've got people around you to support you, but there's also this entire resource center. And then, as you said, every week there's a different education topic to help you become a better networker, perhaps a better business person, and ultimately a better version of yourself.
Oh, 100%. And I think we all learn from each other as well. That's one of the benefits to be the structure of BNI and turning up every week and getting to know each other is that like we all have value to add and contributions to make, and we can genuinely learn from each other. And I don't think that would happen in a different style of networking group. And I think that like environment that BNI sets up enables that really well, just for the fact that we're coming together and being able to learn and support each other.
And how do you measure the success of your participation in BNI, Lynne? Are there any
Yeah.
specific metrics or stories to highlight that success?
Yeah, I thought when we talk to clients about measuring their success in networking, there are sort of three factors. Actually call it the networking equation, like trademark networking equation.
I like
But
it.
it's how we think about it as well when we think about like, is there return on the time investment? That's the main thing, because at the end of the day, the dollar investment to join BNI is so small compared to the return that you get. So yes, look at that. In our chapter, for example, so it's about a little over $2,000, I think, to join. That includes the training fee, but our average chair value, so the value of like being in the chapter on average is. I think it's at $66,000 right now, and we're yeah, not bad, hey. And
Cool.
our goal is to get to 100,000 by the end of
Wow.
this year. So there's the return on investment in terms of the money, but going back to the networking equation, when we think about the return on investment of your time, the way that you need to calculate it or really think about it is three things. One is the size of your network. Are you growing your network with more people? More people equals more opportunities. One of the things that I love about BNI in terms of that is that your network is not just your chapter. It's the network of your network. So the network of your chapter and all the other chapters, around the world. So it's ginormous. Second thing is the quality of your network. So it's not just about the people. It's like, is it the right people? So if, for example, I spoke about corporate before, if my network was entirely people in corporate who had no interest in growing a small business and didn't know anybody who wanted to grow a small business, well, that's not a high quality network. So I also want to focus on the quality of my network. And then the third thing is the connection with the people in your network. And the connection is all about that relationship building part, what I was talking about before, like the trust and the willingness to support each other and help each other. So if we're focusing on those three things, we're going to have a good year. Like we're going to get the return on investment of our time out of BNI, and that's what's been happening. And when we talk to our clients, and we have some clients who are in BNI, that's what they find as well, and how we measure it with them.
And how has your business evolved since joining BNI? What role has networking played in your business growth?
Yeah, a couple of things. The main one in terms of how it's evolved is it's allowed us to explore some new things. Like in terms of our core business, what we do is like we work with a small number of clients hand in hand, helping them to with the strategy and then the execution of growing their business. But because of BNI and like there's really strong relationships we've built, we've been able to sort of explore some other things that we really love doing as well. So for example, we have a client who has asked us to come in and do some specific, like design specific training for their team that's really sales oriented to help them convert more when they're having conversations with clients. And in addition to that, sort of the training side of things, we're doing a little bit more of the like public speaking engagements and doing more talks where it's less of a one-to-one support situation, and it's more about being able to add value to more people in those types of situations. So that's really fun, and again is an area that I think will continue to grow in, and it's been great that BNI has allowed us to do that because of the relationships we've been able to build within the chapter that we're in.
And what advice would you give to new BNI members, Lynne, to make the most out of their membership?
Yeah. Couple things. Actually, three things. One, if you're feeling uncomfortable, lean into that discomfort. Like, don't let that be an excuse to not grow your business. Even if it's like, oh, I don't, as I said, like for me, under the surface, I was actually uncomfortable. I was actually afraid. If that's you, and I know that that's really common, like a lot of people feel that way about networking. So if that's you, then my suggestion is to lean in. Number two would be make sure that you have a plan. Like, be strategic. It can be really easy. I've talked a lot about relationships. It can be really easy, especially in things like one-to-ones, to like just shoot the shit and have a coffee. And at the end of the day, if going back to this idea of return on investment of your time, that's not good return on investment of your time. And so prepare for your one-to-ones. First of all, have one-to-ones with the right people. And make them count. So prepare for them, have an ask or have like something that you're being very clear on in terms of the purpose of the one-to-one. And then also in terms of like sort of giving to them, listen and understand what their needs are and how you can support them. And then the third thing would be along those lines is be a giver first. So if you're brand new to BNI, and I know a lot of people worry about, how am I going to give referrals? Just focus on getting to know the people in your chapter, listening to them, understanding what their goals are, what their needs are, and think like, how can I support this person? And knowing that everybody adds value in different ways. You might not be able to coordinate a bunch of referrals right away. Number one, that will come. And number two, think about other ways you can add value. You can add value by being a good listener. You can add value by offering advice in your area of expertise. You can add value by, showing up to a meeting and being like fun and like adding some lightness and levity to the environment, through doing great education pieces. Like by volunteering, there are so many ways that you can add value to a chapter. So I think don't worry about, will I be able to add value? Just focus on doing it and finding ways to do it.
And be patient. Be patient, and it will come. Look,
It will come.
you're adding significant value to our listeners today, Lynne. So thank you so much. What's next for your business? Have you got any other exciting projects or expansions on the horizon?
I mean, we're focused on just like continuing to do what we are doing and supporting as many businesses as possible within like, we didn't start our business to work 80-hour weeks. And that's one of the things that like we try to help our clients with as well. Actually, we have to walk the talk. The idea isn't to just work harder and do more. It's to be able to build a business that you love and that supports the life that you want. So we try to help our clients with that as well as do that ourselves. So yeah, so helping the clients that we have, bringing on the right clients that really sort of suit how we can help. And then, as I mentioned, we're really loving sort of starting to explore doing more sales focused training, doing more team culture and team building and leadership workshops, and doing some public speaking stuff as well.
Amazing. If you could share one piece of wisdom with our listeners, whether they be BNI members or not, Lynne, what would that be?
Yeah, so hard. One piece of wisdom from a from a coach. So I think can I have two?
You can listen. You can have as many as you want.
No, no.
How many would
Okay,
you like, Lynne?
I'll limit it to two.
Okay.
So the first one is you're not. I mentioned this before, but I just think it's so important. You're not supposed to be an expert at everything. And when you're in a small business, sometimes it feels like you need to be. But what the businesses that succeed the most and the fastest and that have the like least pain and stress in getting there are the businesses that invest in support in the areas that they need support. So I don't care if that's by working with me or with Tony or having a mentor or somebody who's a few steps ahead of you, find somebody who can support you in the areas that you otherwise would be going, I'm not feeling fully confident there. Because if you don't, that will impede your growth.
That's
Off my soapbox.
you
So
want,
that's number one.
That's it.
No, yeah. So number two is just like, if you don't do that, then like growing your business is like the doing it can be complicated and tricky when, new challenges come up, but actually there are only a few things that you need to know. So if you're not going to work with a coach or mentor, then all I would say is like the biggest things that you need to do to grow your business and to succeed in business are, number one, get really, really clear on the product and service you're offering and who you're offering it to, like crystal clear. And then be really good at sales. Be really good at selling that product and service to the right people. And then three, be really good at keeping those customers super happy so that they want to keep working with you and they want to refer to you. Like if you just focused on those three things, like you're going to have a great business at the end of the day. So those are my two pieces of wisdom.
That's amazing. Thank you, Lynne. Now, how can listeners learn more about your business or perhaps get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, if you're in BNI, through BNI Connect, I love having chats. I love like supporting people and having these types of conversations about their businesses specifically. So reach out to me there or through email. It's like lynne@impactedbusinessgroup.com. Just send me an email. Otherwise, we put out a weekly newsletter that is free and only includes like actionable advice for growing your business. You can read it in like 3 minutes or less. And so if you're interested in sort of some of the stuff that I've spoken about or want to learn more, then I'd say sign up for the newsletter. And that's on our website, which is impactedbusinessgroup.com.
Amazing. Thank you, Lynne. I really appreciate it. Well, look, that wraps up another episode of the BNI Effect. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. And I want to extend a massive heartfelt thank you to Lynne Kurelek for sharing her insights with us. Absolutely amazing. If you found value in today's episode, I certainly did, and I'm sure you would have as a listener. Don't forget to subscribe to the BNI Effect on your favorite podcast platform, and please leave us a review. Thank you for listening.